I got into the media business by default, not by design. And it's been a long journey. I think I used to be a space seller. I used to sell advertising space in newspapers. That was my first job and one of my first jobs. And then later, I think I was at the right place at the right time. So way back in 1992, when satellite television came into this country, and Doordarshan was a big daddy. Nobody wanted to join satellite television. I was one of the few people who tried to make an entry there, and I joined Star TV in 1993 on 2nd of Jan on my birthday, and I was one of the 6 people who started the company in India. And Star TV in India at that time was just a liaison office for selling advertising. That's how I started. I spent almost 10 years at Star, growing up to be the career moves over a period of time, growing internally to become the executive vice president of the company and into the managing committee. And then I quit Star and to set up NDTV, I set up NDTV with Dr. Prannoy Roy. I launched all the 3 channels for Dr. Roy at that time, and then dabbled 2 years into running my own media business, which probably the timing was not right, but I tried becoming an entrepreneur. Hopefully someday I'll become an entrepreneur again. And then I joined Colors as its CEO 6 years back, and it's been an exciting, challenging and rewarding journey. So I'll almost complete 25 years in television on my birthday in 2nd of January 2018. Predominantly a Hindi general entertainment channel, predominantly targets women, and by default or design, women are at home and they have the control of the remote to a large extent. And of course, men will take it for watching news or watching sports, but to a large extent, it's the women who control the remote. And India being a 95% single TV household, so while it's targeted at women, by default there's 50% men who watch it as well, or family watches. And television in India is still, I think it's less than 10%. That is, well, not 10%, not less than 3 or 4%, which where households have more than single TVs. So it is inclusive, it is not exclusive. So if there is somebody watching television at home, it means to a large extent the family watches the television at home, unless somebody doesn't want to watch. And the way, and I think this is true globally, but for India I'm sure, when the lights come on in the evening, the television set also comes on. Whether people watch it or not, but the television sets go on, and that's how it is. And so the content that we try and address is targeted at women predominantly, but then we have variety where we also try and, because India is a young country and more than 50% of this population is less than 25 years old. Okay, so there is a need to also target the new generation, and they are more aspirational, they are more progressive and things like that. So we need to draw that right balance. And so if you see Colors as a channel, we have variety, full variety, from Big Boss on one end to Shakti, Udan, Kasam, and Jhalak Dikla Ja. We have different kind of programming. And one of the things that we look at and which we do, we believe that as a broadcaster, we can influence a lot of behavior, mindset, culture. We believe, I mean, that we can influence. I don't think we can change, but we can influence. And we think as a responsible broadcaster, we have a corporate social responsibility in terms of trying to be that catalyst of change for the better. So if you look at some of the stories that we pick, Shani, somebody mentioned it in the conference. I mean, it's about it. It's an educational program. It's about your culture. It's about your beliefs, and it's at the same time breaking the myths and superstitions and things like that. On the other hand, we have a program called Shakti, which is on transgender. Because it's a taboo subject in this country, but we've gone out there and explained to people, again making it entertaining. So we have lots of programs, and the way we look at it is, if you can provide content which has some kind of social messaging, Not necessarily all your shows will have social messaging, and at the same time be progressive. And we are in this business for profit. We are not a charitable organization, right? At the same time, create entertaining content that will drive viewers and advertisers to the channel. I'm a big believer in that. If you see my Twitter handle, it says Raj Cheerful. If you see my email ID, it is Raj Cheerful. So I live, breathe, eat cheerful. Okay. Having said that, I believe that you have to be positive because there is so much negativity in the world, and people watch television, people watch movies. It's to escape. They want to go into Disneyland. They can't go into Disney. They go into a cinema theater and then they escape into that, whatever it is, into that world of Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan or whatever it is. And same thing with television programs. They get engrossed. They identify with the protagonist. They get angry if I change a protagonist of the storyline is changing. They troll me. Uh, so it's important for you to keep that in mind whenever you're doing any content. See, the Shakti that we've Shakti Denama, that's the kind of a thing. But goddesses come to your mind because we were brought up in a culture where in Hindu mythology goddesses were seen as Shakti. Whether it was Durga, whether it was Kali, whether it was various, Amba, all kinds of gods. So Shakti for us, whilst on one end it brings all these images, on the other end Shakti means also strength, it's power. So so that's what Shakti is all about. And for me, Shakti is about not necessarily physical power. Shakti is being empowered. I don't think so. I think it is changing. There is mindset problem, and that is globally. But the fact is that I think women have now, there are more and more women going to schools and colleges. Education is a big thing. I think in that kind of a scenario, there is women are finding their voice and they are making it heard. And I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, somebody mentioned today that there are more number of women on social media than men. Now, just imagine if all those women came together and decided to make their voice heard. When a woman makes a voice heard, nobody can ignore it. No, but it is a major dichotomy because we say Durga Ma, you know, and Ma is not destructive. So there's a dichotomy there, at least at least in the Indian culture, for sure. I know mother is something that you worship, and mother is protective. Mother is a giver. Mother is somebody that who gives you unconditional love. So so for me, from a person like your mother and my mother, I mean, I'm just speaking for myself, my Shakti comes from my mother. I think the most beautiful thing about a relationship, about a marriage, it's an institution which is, people don't really value it the way they should, okay? Because just imagine somebody who doesn't know you decides to spend the rest of their life with you. It's I wouldn't say it only for a woman, I said for a man also. Just just imagine wanting spending your life with somebody whom you just met or just fallen in love, or maybe even gone around for a few years, but you really don't know a person. Okay, today it's different. You have live-in relationships and things like that, but there was a time when people would just meet and get married and live. So it's a very very strong institution, and if you look at it, the bad gets highlighted, but look at the good of it. Majority have made their marriages work, and if you, I don't know what percentage it will be, but I would assume more than 95% of the marriages work. I would assume because it empowers both people, and nature is made in such a way. It's like, a tree shreds its leaves and fresh leaves come. It's the same thing. You produce children, and then you go away. They produce children. So that's what it is. It's an evolution. And I think it empowers. In its own way, it's Shakti. Consciousness, I don't think anything has changed. It's just that people have got more exposure. People, even a child today is on an iPad, okay, and has got a mobile phone. I think because of which people ask more questions. Because there was a time when you told your child this and the person accepted it, but today the child will turn back and question you and say, why are you saying this? Because there is information, there is thing. So I think people's consciousness is there. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong. There are inherently good or bad people. There are people who but I think the world has become so materialistic, the world has become so commercial. So somewhere I think the balance has gone out. But end of the day, we try and do it in our own way. I mean, we cannot change the world, but like I said, in our own way, we try to do things in terms of messaging and things like that. Even if it is contributing to tomorrow child education or things, we do shows. We like at Colors, we partnered with Ladli Foundation for Gender Sensitivity. We partnered with Pinkathon, which is a women's only run marathon. So we do things like that in our own way. We are trying to support causes and things like that that help bring some change in society. We work in an organization where there's a team, there's a place, and then end of the day you're also chasing TRPs, you're chasing numbers. So if I was a public broadcaster and I had the freedom to do things, I would do it.